Hi, so how have you been doing? Right, this crisis has been going on for a few months already, and I've been talking to business leaders almost every week to help them get through this period of time. Right, so today's video I've titled it COVID 19 So Far. And what should businesses do next? And I think it's very important for us to take stock, right, and really understand what's the phases that the crisis will take us through, and where is your business in those few phases or stages, and then what do we do next. So it's very important that we need to understand what to do next, otherwise we will be stuck, right, and we will always be feeling trapped. So I want to share with you what I've learned and what we can see going forward, and hopefully this will help you in designing your own strategy. But first of all, my name is Jeremy Han. I'm a scaling up coach, and scaling up is based on this award-winning book, Scaling Up by Vern Harnish, that's helped more than 40,000 companies across the world to scale. Right. So I help companies across the Asia Pacific region in implementing this whole formula into their companies, and we have helped many companies to scale. So I'm going to share with you the conversations that I have with these companies that I'm working with across the whole Asia Pacific and across various industries, so that you can also see how will their experience help you in formulating your own strategy going forward. So there are three stages I want to talk to you about, right? The first stage, when this crisis happened, the first stage is the shock stage. The second is the survival stage, and third is how do you thrive, right? So how do we move through these three stages, and what are the things you need to focus on in each of this stage? So let's talk about the shock stage, right? What really happened at the very start of the crisis, because the crisis hit different countries at different points of time. So different companies across the region, they go through the shock stage differently. But in a nutshell, the first thing I think you need to do when you hit this stage is to protect your people. I think if you look at the news every day, you have so much information and so much news of companies firing people, right? And I think that's really one very painful thing that you need to do. And if you do that wrongly, it will affect you later on. So if you can protect your people, don't fire them. That should not be your first reaction. So no knee-jerk reaction, because I have one client whose initial reaction was to let people go because they are in the hospitality and tourism and restaurant business. They own a chain of business across this, and you can imagine how hard it must have been for them. And their first reaction was to reduce the number of people. And I told him, no, you should not do that. Right? Take stock. Watch what's happening. And that was actually something really critical, because when he did that, that really helped in his pivoting story. Because think about that. Who's going to help you to pivot your business if they're all living in fear? So protect your people, no knee-jerk reactions. Second, protect your cash flow. Keep yourself afloat. And this is what I tell you is going to be very important, and that is really to come out with your 13-week rolling cash flow forecast to see where are you exactly every week. How much money is coming in and how much money is going out, and how much you need to just get through this period of time. Last week I sat in on a webinar for about 200 businesses talking about cash flow, and you'll be surprised how many companies do not know exactly how much money they're going to need for the next few months. So don't make that mistake. Sit down and identify those critical numbers of how much money you need coming in and how much money you need going out every week for the next 13 weeks. And thirdly, protect yourself. Business owner, business leader, you are critical, because your approach to this crisis will reflect your strategy, and that determines how your people are going to come out of this crisis. So it's very important. Please keep calm and watch yourself, right? Keep yourself positive. Talk to the right people, look at the right things, so that you will be in the right frame of mind to lead. Next, after we go through that shock stage, comes the survival stage. And what is this survival stage? First one is to start to stretch your cash flow. Now you have gotten beyond that stage where cash flow might mean an immediate survival or death, right? Because it is really very critical that once you survive beyond that stage, you start asking yourself, how long more can I last? So I sit on one of the weekly huddles of one of my clients. They are a pharmaceutical business, about $100 million, and they had a initial projection to say we're going to have 3 months more cash, right? That's what they've been saving on. And I told them extend that another 6 months all the way to the end of the year because you need to anticipate a second wave of the virus. That's a country that's actually coming out of the lockdown, right? So people should be optimistic. But I told them that that's really the key thing, because when you are overly optimistic, that's when trouble happens. So stretch your cash flow, anticipate a second wave. We hope for the best, but we also prepare for the worst. Next would be preparing your people to be the last man standing. Now, this is a time, the critical phase where a lot of companies might not survive, right? And it is a time that you must outlast your competitors, because the last man standing wins everything. He takes the whole market. But what's this key about being the last man standing is for your people to understand the game. You see, a lot of people that my clients deal with, a lot of the employees go into this crisis thinking that things are going to go back to normal, back to the good old days, right? And when company recovers, we should be getting our salaries back, our bonuses back. We need to help our people to understand that the nature of the game has changed. The winner now is not the one that's going to be making a lot of money this year, but the winner is going to be the last man standing, because the last man standing will take everything, right? So prepare your people for a long fight. Get them to understand that the rules have changed for this year, and get them to commit and make sacrifices for the business. One of my clients, I told her and said that if people need to go because they say you're not treating me well in this period of time, let them go, because they have just proven themselves that they will not fight the battle with you. So prepare your people to be the last man standing. Tell them this is a battle, and now the one with the most grit wins. And the third thing that you need to do in the survival stage is start to ask yourself, what's the pivot strategy? Well, some of my clients managed to pivot while they're still in shock, but most did not, because the immediate thing is to, how do I protect, right? But once we kind of stabilize that, now this is where you need to get your team to talk about your pivoting strategy. And I mentioned early on, if you have fired a whole bunch of people, nobody's going to be pivoting the business for you, right? So it is very important, because my clients, some of them, when their people felt assured that they are going to be going through this crisis together with the company, now the ownership falls onto them to say, how do we help this company to survive into the next stage? And they huddled together and they came up with some fantastic ideas on how to pivot their business and how to start preparing for the post-COVID opportunities. So start thinking about that. What are the needs and fears of the customers and the behaviors of the customers that will change because of the COVID crisis? And that's where your pivoting strategy can start to happen. So ask yourself that question. What needs, what preferences, what behaviors, or what new problems will be created because of the COVID crisis that you can solve? And lastly, we go into the try stage. Now, when you get out of the survival stage, that's when you really start to ask yourself this question: how do we build anew and capitalize on the new opportunities that come out? And this is something you need to start thinking about even while you're in the survival stage, because you can't wait until everything is normal, then you think about thriving. Other people will be ahead of you. So the earlier on you start planning, the earlier on you can start marshalling your resources for this very critical stage. So what are the three things? First is start to create a new business model for the new normal. One of my clients have turned their furniture business into a furniture as service business. It is a recurring income model where they supply office furniture no longer through sales, but to homes on a work from home basis. Now, you never know how long you're going to be working from home, so you're not going to be investing a lot of money on expensive, good quality office furniture to put it at your house, right? Because it's going to cloud up the place. It's going to just crowd out your home when you no longer need it. So she turned her business model into a furniture as service recurring income model. Next is to develop your A players for future growth, right? Every opportunity creates new opportunities, but are your people ready for them, right? A players are people with the right skills. So if there's going to be a new normal, there's going to be new needs, new problems that are going to be solved, are your people ready to solve these new needs and these new problems? So start asking yourself, what are those new areas that your people need to grow in, and start working on them. And lastly is to prepare your cash flow for growth. One of my clients who runs a chain of restaurants told me that they are already looking at the very good prime locations where current restaurants are going to be giving up their lease because they have given up the business. So look for opportunities, but prepare your cash flow. Because what's the point of identifying good opportunity, but you don't have the money to exploit it, right? So in the thrive stage, ask yourself, how do I start raising funds to really grow in the business when all these opportunities will come? So I hope that these three stages have helped you to at least have an idea of what to do and how to prepare yourself going forward. Once again, my name is Jeremy Han. I'm a scaling up coach. I work with CEOs to help them scale their business, and this crisis is really a time and opportunity for you to also rethink how you can scale your business. And if you want to get in touch with us, contact us at this grow@growthcatalyst.com.sg, grow@growthcatalyst.com.sg, and you can also visit our YouTube channel. There are a lot of resources for you that will help you to scale your business. So thank you very much, and see you again.